So next, I'm very honored to introduce Jessica Wood. Jessica is a Gitxsan activist and a community planner. She's Vice President of the Board for the BC Centre for Excellence in Women's Health and a longtime organizer of the Downtown Eastside February 14th Women's Memorial March. Welcome, Jessica.
I'm a Sai. So as Jen said in her very kind introduction, I'm Gitxsan. I'm also Tsimshian, and I have familial roots with the Tahltan and the Nisga'a First Nations from northern BC. I'm here to discuss inequities in access to quality healthcare for Indigenous people in Canada and its relevance in the upcoming election. I could spend this whole time talking about clean drinking water or the lack thereof in Indigenous communities. I could talk about the lack of adequate, let alone healthy housing in most Indigenous communities, where overcrowding and TB rates are astronomical. I could start you off with statistics, how 11% of people on reserve have type 2 diabetes in the adult population, how 47% of new HIV diagnoses within Aboriginal communities are women, compared to 21% in non-Indigenous communities. I could mention that of these diagnoses, 1 in 3 are under the age of 30. But to understand these statistics, or to talk about any of these things broadly or more specifically, we need to consider the context in which these inequities are allowed to thrive. Indigenous women and girls are not safe in Canada. We are at risk of violence, direct or random, sexual, domestic, systemic, even through the healthcare system. In the past 20 years, there are over 2,000 missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. The RCMP have confirmed 1,181 missing women, and there have been more since. This is a public healthcare crisis. In fact, it fits all the definitions of an epidemic, disproportionately affecting large percentages of the population. At this rate, we can expect to have 100 Indigenous women and girls a year be stolen from our communities and our families. Take this in for a moment. 100 women and girls a year from Indigenous communities are stolen. Imagine what our families and communities contemplate every day. Will this time it be from my nation, from my village, from my community, from my family again? Our current Prime Minister says it's not on his radar. I say we need a national inquiry and that we make the safety and security of Indigenous women a key determinant of health in Canada. How do Indigenous women and girls go missing in Canada? In rural communities, it's as easy as being pregnant. Picture yourself at 25, a single parent of 2 with another one on the way. You drop your kids off at school, and then you need to make it to the neighboring town to get groceries and to see your doctor. The only way to be there and back in time to get your kids after school is to hitchhike. That trip is a risk Northern women are forced to make every single day. That is preventable by a system of healthcare that prioritizes those that access it. If we were centered as the folks receiving care, just like those who are migrants, just like those who are refugees, if we were centered in our own care by the providers and the systems that are designed to provide us with care, this would not happen. This is also evidenced by communities that have hospitals and nursing stations with palliative care in northern rural Aboriginal communities and not maternity care, i.e. the message is, you must leave to bring life into this world. You can pass away on Indigenous communities, but you cannot be born there. Urban access to care for Indigenous people is challenging. To access quality care, even in urban communities as an Indigenous person, is incredibly hard to navigate. For most Indigenous people who access non-insured health benefits, many care providers have opted out. This is the underlying systemic privatization of healthcare that most people don't know about. This means that your options for dentists, therapeutic specialists, etc., are rapidly reduced, and the inequity between those that can afford the services they need and have coverage for are reduced. Most of all, we need systemic change within a government to a trauma-informed and culturally relevant healthcare system that not only recognizes diversity, but also considers it a pillar in treatment and care. Thank you.